Hello, YouTubes, and welcome back to class. In this lecture, we are going to be covering some finishing details on one more layout, and then we have one left to go after that. You're in the home stretch at this point because most everything is done by now. One thing I do have to give a short disclaimer here. When I left off yesterday, the drawing looked like this. I forgot completely to label this with a B. Everything else is labeled. I didn't put the B on here, and quite frankly, I should have. So I am going to fix that right now. Just very quickly. Going to put the correct marker in. And so, now that we have the correct marker, now I will copy this in the place and put it in the correct places for them to go. So, place. Place, 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 place. So much beautiful placing. Oh, place. If this isn't gotten annoying for you by now, it's annoying for me. I usually like to do jokes until they annoy me, which is usually a lot longer than it takes to annoy other people. So, pretty much all you need to do is make sure that the label is the same color and is nearby the object. Universally, if it's the same color and really close by, that is recognized. Boy, that gives a very interesting effect with this at one angle and the bees at another angle. Boy, that looks weird. But this is the correct way of creating all of those items. Some people will have headers that point from the letter to the object. I don't like that, so we'll just do it this way for now. Everything is labeled, and this sheet is now done. Now, before I really jump in and try to finish this drawing, I'm going to go zoom in on these and say, okay, if I remember correctly, this is the same size as this, which is a different size from this. I have two different types of vertical structures that I'm going to end up having to build. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to do my standard copy paste. Oh, I created foliage details and I never actually put anything in there. Yeah, nice kill. Nice. Well done. I'm just going to change this part then to structure details. Why not? I need a space and I've already got one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy one of these, put it down in here, escape, and I'm going to copy another one of these and put it down in here also. Okay, now this is the concrete footprint for each of my buildings. I'm going to build a building that goes on that concrete footprint, but in general, what you're going to want to do on the actual concrete footprint is you're going to want to draw on this drawing where the supports go. Okay, but then we have a little fun thing where we have to try to make that a vertical entity. So first things first, I'm going to take this and rotate it just so that we're dealing with a flat rectangle rather than a tall one. Go ahead and drag it, bring it down here. And now I have my two rectangles. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to create some circular pylons. Now, every structure is supported differently. You may have a structure that doesn't completely support this. You may have a structure that actually goes outside of this. You may have a structure where the circular pylons for holding it are way out here. That's fine. You can do all of those. As long as you have a sufficient concrete footing for those, that's fine. And we're not, in this drawing set, we're not going to be drawing footings, because if we did draw footings, we'd have to draw footings for every one of the playground structures. We'd have to draw footings for the pavement. We'd have to draw footings for... It's just not worth the time, in my opinion. But a correctly drawn AutoCAD drawing would have footings drawn. We just aren't. It's a freshman level project, dang it. So rather than draw footings, we're just going to place our structures. So I'm going to jump into the buildings setting, and I'm going to have circular concrete poles supporting my structures, because you know what? I find that aesthetic. You could sit here and draw rectangular metal ones. You can draw whatever size you want. But I'm generally going to create, and you know what? I'm going to have my pylons go outside of the concrete so that the full concrete is actually protected from the wind and the rain. If the rain comes in at an angle, it would protect it. So mine's going to go outside of the structure. You could put yours on the structure, on the concrete itself. That doesn't hurt anything. The placement of the pylons is, I mean, you could put one right in the middle if you really want to. In fact, you could just line a whole wall with concrete pylons or metal pylons or wood pylons that hold up your building. If you really want to, you know what, that's fine. It's inconvenient, it sucks, but it's your world. We're just living in it. Mine are going to be circular, and mine are going to be outside. So I'm going to go ahead and say circle. Now, typically a concrete pylon has a radius of between 6 inches, which, you know, foot wide pylon is pretty thin. So a 2 foot wide pylon is pretty thick. Usually doesn't get more than 2 feet. The structure doesn't take a whole lot of load. I mean, it will take like a wind load and it'll take a snow load, but we're not doing structural analysis right now because that's a little bit more complex than what you would need to know how to do. So at this point, we're just drawing a building. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 12 inches radius. You'll notice that that's pretty small. I'm going to go ahead, move that into place. And this right here, if I just take a quick dimension of this, this is going to go zoom in. It's 40 feet. Okay, so this is 40 feet, but I believe that's 20 feet. So I'll probably want my pylons to go out about 5 feet by 5 feet more. So I'm going to be looking at designing a 50 by 30 real footprint for my building. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, copy it, move this over to this way with 50 feet. 50 times 12 is 600 inches. And then down here, 30 times 12 is 360. And then second point would be 600 comma 360. Oh, that put it way too far up. Put it up there. Oops. I guess I'll take this and move it downward at 360 twice, so 720. So there. Now I have a 50 by 30 structure. Okay, and that's really what I'm going to want my structure to. That's going to be the footprint from the top. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them over there, but I drew them over here so that, you know, I like clean drawings. Before I do that though, I'm actually going to move this box, which I have the ability to do that. Since I copied the box and the box is over here by itself, I'm going to move this box. I'm actually going to create a line. It's going to go from here, and that line is going to go 60 inches to the right, and then 60 inches down. I'll hit enter, I will move this box corner over to that point. So now this is 5 feet by 5 feet, 5 feet by 5 feet. That should all be 5 feet in all directions. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. If I zoom in, looks good. I will go ahead now and take this and move it. Oh, I have to rotate it. I'll do that first. So rotate about this point here, rotate it up, copy this, and move it from this corner, and I'll go over here and put it on this drawing here, and I'll put it here. Okay, and that shows where my concrete pylons are for my building. Just hope I didn't put trees there by accident. Make sure that I don't have any trees intersecting. I don't! So we're good, we're good. Shut off trees again. Okay. So now I've got one. For my other one, I'm probably going to do the same thing. Same concrete pylons, same spacing. Actually, I'm going to draw a line before I do this. It's also be at -60, 60. Enter. Copy this center point over here. Now there's another way of putting these pylons in and making sure that they nicely space around here, and that's using a mirror method, which I'm going to do that. I use mirror a lot. I love mirror. Okay, and the first thing you do after you click mirror is it asks, well, you go through this process. So I type in mirror, I pick an object. Sometimes if you already have the object selected, it'll just go to the next step. I hit enter. It says specify the first line of the mirror line. So this is where's going to be your line of symmetry. I click one point and then I track upward at 90 degrees, because what that does is you'll see over there on the right, it's already created a ghost image of what the new image is going to be. If I click again, or if I just hit enter, oh, I have to click again. It'll put the point over there, and then it says, do you want me to erase that one you just drew? And usually the answer is no. But now I'm going to take these and I'll mirror them about the other side. If I go about the midpoint, I'm able to mirror nicely without it causing problems. Okay, and now I have this. I'll go ahead and take this, copy it, move it from this point, and I'll go ahead and put it over here. And those are going to be my concrete pylons. Let me check trees real quickly. Yep, we're good on trees. I knew not to put trees too close to the building. I knew it. I'm a friggin' genius. But that's nice. There we go. Now, I don't want to have, in my structure details, I don't actually want to have this present. I'm just going to take this and use this to kind of generate one of the structure details. So I'll start by rotating this over again. I'm just going to move this down a little bit, like that. And you'll notice this goes off the edge because I'm planning on deleting this later. Only have so much space. I'm going to go ahead and start with a line. Just go straight up here like this. Now, how tall do I want my structure? Let's see. You know what? I want it to be kind of an open air event. For the smaller ones, I want them to have a 10-foot ceiling. A little bit more intimate environment. Something that's a little bit more casual. So what I'm going to do is, from this line up here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line that goes up 10 feet, 120. Okay, and then I'll hit enter. Delete this line. Okay, now I'm going to go into a different layer real quickly. My boundaries layer is showing up as black. That's interesting. I'll draw a line, and I'm just going to draw a line that goes across. I'll probably have to extend that line. That's going to just generally represent the ground here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take a line from the center of this, Go straight up. And this is just going to be marking for me where my pylons are. Okay, gotta delete that one. And then I gotta change this. Actually, I don't need to, but I will. I'll change this to buildings. Okay, so this is where the center line of my pylons are. There's my ground line. And all I did was I just used this as a template, just kind of projected onto this plane. It's kind of like taking a top view and converting it into a front view, so to speak. We're going to be doing that a lot more in SolidWorks. We're going to be generating a front view of what the structure actually looks like here. So, switch to my buildings layer. Now, first things first, I'm using a 2-foot diameter pylon, which means it's a 1-foot radius, which means an offset distance from the center line is going to be 12 inches. So go this way, 12 inches, go this way, 12 inches. Same Z's, same Z's. Hit escape. Now this is my center line. I don't need it anymore. I'm deleting it. I shouldn't have done that. I'm hitting you. I'm going to convert this into a construction line. That way I'll keep it. It won't print, but it's something that I can measure and work from in the future if I need to go to the center of that. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing a line. So this is 10 feet tall by 40 feet long. I'll go ahead and start by drawing a line that's now 40 feet long. Now, from the center of this pylon, I'm going to want my structure to extend out maybe another 5 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and say extend out 5 feet. Enter, enter, extend out 5 feet. Enter. Okay, so now my structure extends out 5 feet. And then I'm just going to bring it up to a very, very close taper. It'll be at a 1 to 12 angle, which that's pretty standard for a roof. 1 to 12 angle sheds water well, sheds ice well, but also doesn't. It's easy to walk on if you need to go shingle it again. So 1 divided by 12. Nope, that's not it. Clear. I need to open up my scientific calculator. Because ultimately it's actually a tangent of you rise 1 foot for every 12 feet you go across, so that's a tangent of 112. So I need to take tangent. Oh, nope, sorry. Clear. How do I clear? Take the arctan. Tangent to -1. I don't know how to do the -1. You know what? I have a better calculator on my phone. So, inverse tangent of 1 divided by 12. Okay, so the inverse tangent of 1 divided by 12 in degrees is about a 4.76 slope. So if I go back in here quickly, looking at a 4.76 slope, I'm just going to start drawing a line here. And I'm going to draw it at, you know what, I'm going to draw it at 50 feet, which is 600. And then I'm going to hit shift and get my caret. And what that does is, it's this caret symbol here that's right in front of the angle. I'm going to specify that at 4.76 degrees. So on this one, it's going to be 180 minus 4.76 degrees. So 180 minus 4.76 is 175.23. So 175.23 degrees. Okay, awesome. Enter. I'm going to take this line, just like I did before. I'm going to go ahead and mirror it. Because what that'll do, nicely do, is create an intersection here that I can then trim and cut off that extra. Now, here, this roof looks a little weird. There is absolutely no depth to this roof. I'm probably going to have to use some steel girders to go across here. Now, the steel girders themselves are probably going to have a width to them. They're probably going to be physical components that have some width. So I'm going to need to raise this up. Now, I'm going to assume that my steel girders are about a foot tall. That's giant for steel girder, but whatever. Foot tall. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 6 inches for support materials, connection materials, that type of thing. So I'm gonna scoot this up, move vertically 18 inches. Okay, and then I'll just close off the structure with and that's going to be my structure. It's not very pretty, but that's what my structure looks like. I'm going to go ahead and draw in the pavement too. That's the whole reason why I left that. So I'll switch to my parking lot layer. Once again, I'm going to trace a line up. It's going to define this corner. Enter, enter. Trace a line up. It's going to define this corner. Enter. And what I'm going to go ahead and say is I actually want this concrete pad to be about 2 inches above everything else, because it'll help with make sure that water doesn't get on top. So 2, enter, 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 2, enter, and then draw this over and connect it here. So now I have a little concrete pad. Goes under my giant structure. I'll delete these 2 lines. And there we go. We've got that one done. Okay. My other structure is going to be very similar. Okay. And I can do the same process. Move this down here. Probably don't have to move it nearly as far. But I'm going to go ahead and draw another structure. This time I want it to be 15 feet tall. Yeah. But it's going to have the same style of roof. You can have a flat roof. You can have oh, I don't remember what it's called, but it's just a board roof that doesn't provide any resistance to rain. You can do that. You can do whatever kind of roof you want. I know Jeremy created Pyramid, so. Oh, wait. No, sorry, that was Brett. Giant Pyramid. You have to design it. You have to draw it. At least. But I'm going to go ahead and do that again over here. So I've got, I'm going to create my boundaries there, which is just going to be ground line. Here I'm going to draw it over, and then I'll turn back around and trim it later. Then I've got my buildings. Zoom in. I'll bring a line up from here to here, have this go up 15 feet. 15 feet is 900 inches. Enter. Whoa. 15 feet is not 900 inches. 15 feet is 180 inches. Oops. My bad. A little bit of a difference there. I'll go ahead and do it again from the center of the circle, bring it up here, bring this up 180 inches, and then bring it across. Okay, go ahead and delete these. Nice. I do need to offset. My offset distance is 12. I'll pick this, build out my concrete pylons, so they're not just lines, they actually have some physical dimension to them. I'll change these into construction, hit escape, I'm back on the buildings layer. I'm going to extend out 5 feet from this center line again, so this will go out 60 inches, enter, enter, go over here, enter, this will go out 60 inches. Enter. Once again, I'm going to create a line that goes up 18 inches on both sides. But I'll just mirror this one when I do it later. Now once again, I'm going to draw this one here. I'm going to go ahead and draw this one again at 600 angle. That was 175.23. Hit enter. So that's a 1 to 12 roof. That's a really, really shallow roof. But you know what? I like it. Don't make too steep of a roof, please. I'm going to go ahead and mirror this. I'm going to mirror it across the center line again. I do not want to just erase source objects. And then I'm going to trim off the intersection up here. That way, I don't have to calculate what the hypotenuse of this line is in order to get to this midpoint. That's the least amount of math necessary. If you don't have to do math and you can do things geometrically, just do it. So once again, now I have two different structures. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my pavement quickly. So go down to parking lot, line, and draw this up. And then draw up 2 inches, enter, enter, enter. Up here, draw up 2 inches, enter, and then draw over and enter. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete these and then delete these. Now you'll notice when I drag down to the right, my square is blue. When I drag up when I drag to the left, it turns green. When I drag to the right, it turns blue. Everything that's inside of the blue box gets selected. Everything that touches or is inside of the green box gets selected. So right now it would select those lines that it's touching, but right here it would not select anything at all. Now, there's a big difference between blue and green. But now I have all of these dimensioned, well, ready to be dimensioned. I have the pylons in place in the drawing. I'm going to go ahead and create that new layout. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Go ahead, right click from layout, go to Done CAD, hit OK. I'll go here and it's this. I just accidentally created this one. I'm going to delete it. There we go. First things first, rename it. So this is going to be 6 open space details. I'll go ahead and double click on my title block. This is called open space details. You won't have to change this. I do. This is arch. I'm going to come back and specify the units there again because we're going to have to use a weird zoom in unit. And this is page 6 of what's going to end up being 7. I can change it to 7 right now. It'll save me a little bit of time. First things first, go ahead and put in a layout. Here, once I put in the layout, I'm going to go ahead, click on this, change it to viewports. Okay. I did not want to do that. Now what I'm going to be showing specifically here is I want to be showing this section right there. I'm not sure what scale that is. It's a little bit bigger than 1 to 100. I'm going to go ahead and try a 1 to 60 foot scale. So 1 to 60 foot, if I bring up my calculator, is what, 1 divided by 720. So 1 divided by 720. 0.00138 repeating. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. ZSC 0.00138. Enter. Okay, and that actually works. I want my open space to be right here, and then I'm going to crop this so that only the open space is visible. Okay, so gives a very interesting look. If I want to keep my benches in over here, I can. I don't really want to, but unfortunately it'd be hard to cut out of my drawing. You could put a white block over the top of that if you really don't want that to show. I don't care enough. This does show the concrete pylon locations, which that's important. And over here I'm going to put the actual structural details. So I'm going to create a new layout. And over here, this is not going to follow the same scale as the rest of the sheet, so I'm going to have to dimension this one. Go ahead and double click in here. We're just going to zoom in until this one looks reasonable. And I like that right there. My other one's a little bit bigger, so if I use the same scale for both of them, I should probably make this just a slight bit smaller. Okay. Now, first you gotta put this on the viewports layer. If you don't, it'll end up with a rectangle around it, which I don't want. I'll go ahead and bring this in. Go ahead and bring this in close because I didn't cut off the ground there. I want to cut it in close so that it at least looks similar. Or I could go back in and actually cut the ground there, but I'm lazy. Now I gotta do some quick dimensions. So I'll switch to my dimensions layer, go to my annotate tab, hit dimension, and start drawing it up. So first of all, this line right here is 10 feet. Nice. This span here from here to here is 60 feet. I can bring that up there, that's nice. The angle between this line and this line this comes out to 5 degrees. I'm probably going to have to change that angle so that it shows a little bit more than 5. My concrete pad here is 40 feet, and then the depth of that concrete, see if I can dimension this line. Yeah, it's going to come out and be 2 inches. It's basically impossible to see. Okay, I'm going to also dimension the size of my pylons, which is 2 feet. And I pretty much have everything for this drawing. Now I got to clean up my dimensions and make them readable. Move my 60 feet up a little bit. My 2 feet kind of gets really close to my 10 feet over here, so I'm going to move that over, just slightly nudge it over. My 40 feet's okay. My 2 feet here is acceptable. I didn't dimension pylon to pylon. I probably should have. Drat. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and move this up again, and I will put in this dimension here. Goes from center to center and says 50 feet. Okay, now you'll notice that I just dimensioned to these construction lines, which will not be present when they're there. I could go back and change them into center lines, which is probably what I should do. So select these two, take them out of the construction layer, because right now they're in construction and they won't print. So I have to put them in buildings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my properties, and I'm going to click right here. Okay, this specifies line type. I'm going to go ahead and go to other, and you can go up and hit load, and you can bring in a dash. Now it doesn't always show up. It's not showing up here because the dashes, let's see, the dashes I believe are so small you have to zoom in, but also some button down here that lets you view line type. I don't remember what that is. It's just annoying trying to convert these to dashed lines. Usually you will be using a template where that's already set up for you. Good. If I go back in here, they still don't show up. Right click on them, properties. You can look at the line. Oh, oops. Okay. So I just accidentally went into the viewport and started messing with my scale, which destroys all of your dimensions. I want to change the by thickness. I want to change. Well, I do want to change the line type. So I'm going to change both of them to now not by scale but by ACAD. And there's a certain way. View line type in AutoCAD. Okay, so this says go to the Home tab, Properties panel, Line Type drop-down list. It's just incredibly challenging and unnecessary. Home tab. Properties menu, line type, scale, and we'll try making this like a 40. Huh, well it's not showing up, so you know what? I'm gonna leave it because I don't care enough. Let's just do the other one. We'll be done with this. We'll put on a note, finish this up. So go ahead and take this, copy it, move it down, click on here. Now I'm just gonna pan over because I don't want to change the zoom scale on this. I'm gonna have to make this viewport bigger because this structure was bigger. But once again, I don't want to make it too big because I'm gonna have to cut off the ground somewhere. Try to keep it a little bit looking consistent with the one above it. So I'm going to need to move this one over. I'll select all of them. Notice how I scrolled to the left, got the green arrow, hit move, put it over here. There we go. Same with this one. I'm going to go ahead and move it, put it so that we're aligning the two edges here so the buildings align like that. I'm going to go ahead and put in my dimensions. I'm currently in the dimension layer, so we're good to go there. We'll put about the same types of dimensions we put on the last one. Got 70. I got, oh, my snap is freaking out on me. 5 degrees between these two. Here, this is going to be 15 feet tall and concrete pad, and there we go. So bring out the 2 inches over here again. Go ahead and bring down the 60 feet, and then go ahead and dimension the 2 feet. Okay, so same dimensions, just new structure. I am gonna go ahead and go to my notes layer now, because I have a few things to write on this. And my note 1 is going to be, I'll just put this somewhere, and then structure A. Go ahead and center this under the drawing, and then copy this, move it down here, center it under the drawing again, and type in structure B. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is my note and the text, I'm just going to draw a note up here. I'm going to go up and reduce my text size and type A. Move it into roughly the center of this box. Copy this. Copy. Copy. And change this to a B. There we go. So now I have this dimensioned. I have them labeled where I'm going to put them. Put up a short notes box right up here. Boy, am I running out of space. Text. Here. Change the notes to 0.1. Enter. Type in notes. 1. Structure A consists of concrete pylons with a steel roof at a 1/12 slope. Yep. And then structure B consists of concrete pylons with a steel roof at a 1/12 slope. Done. Those are all the notes I'm going to have. Take my notes, center them over here where they're readable. And that page is now done. So I'm going to quickly post another video showing how to do the 7th one.